So here's a few quick lessons that I've learned in my long-term engagement work. If social change were a mathematical equation, some of the work that I've done and a lot of the work that I see my allies do has made us experts at division and subtraction. You know what I mean. A left-wing firing squad is when we all walk into a room, pick up our weapons, face inward into a circle, someone yells fire, and we all pull the trigger. And whoever's left standing gets to carry the banner at the head of the next protest, if they can still walk. So, although we can be experts at division and subtraction, we need to do work in a way that makes us experts at addition and multiplication. We need to add ourselves to new movements. We need to add folks to our movements. We need to multiply and amplify their efforts and work with them to multiply and amplify our efforts. Addition and multiplication. So here's 3 approaches that I have done that I encourage you not to do. The first I call the Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams, that was a Kevin Costner movie back in the 80s. Kevin Costner used to be a movie star, forget it. It was predicated on this idea that if he built this fabulous baseball diamond, all these people would show up and magic would take place. Now that was fabulous for Hollywood. But in the real world, I've seen lots of incredible social movement infrastructure get built, a lot of time and money get put into it, and then once it's there, the open sign goes up, and I just sit there at my desk waiting for the crowds to rush in. But the disappointing thing is they never show up, because I didn't actually go to them in the first place to talk about what it is they needed, what their hopes and dreams and concerns were, and how we might actually tackle this together. So my good idea, although I still think it was a good idea, and I've seen this happen a lot in social movements, a lot of that time and money gets wasted because in my field of dreams, it's me and nothing but the sound of crickets. Approach number 2, which I see a lot, I call park and bark. That's where I plant my feet firmly, put one hand on my hip, the other grabs my mythical megaphone, and I yell and tell my truth at all passerbys. Now, although this can be very emotionally satisfying, that's the next one, that can be very emotionally satisfying, and don't get me wrong, there is times for yell and tell, especially when injustice is right in our face and we have to stop something bad. Park and bark and yell and tell can work. But what I have figured out for a lot of folks is when I'm yelling and telling at them, instead of my message, all they hear me yelling at them is that they're wrong, they're wrong, they're wrong, they're stupid, they're stupid, they're stupid. And after a while, they just walk in the other direction. Approach number 3, which I encourage you not to use, I call it the fact-a-lanche. Fact-a-lanche, it's an avalanche of facts, because we have good ideas. We are people who like policy, we like our ideas because they're well thought out, we have good numbers, and I know I used to think that if I just covered people in enough facts, if I whacked them over the head enough times with my truth and my inflatable bat of social justice, that they'd awake from their cognitive concussion and have a come to Jesus moment and see my light. Now, unfortunately, that doesn't usually work. I'm sitting there whacking them over the head with my truth and my facts, and they come up for water, and they reach for some bottled water, and then I whack them again and say, bottled water's bad. And then instead of joining me, they usually just stumble off trying to search for an Advil and some tape to put their head back together. Field of Dreams, park and bark, and fact-a-lanche, not the best approaches.